So I pride myself in being that driving force, getting a little bit extra out of our guys. It's not easy, but nor is it supposed to be, right? Anything worth doing is going to be hard. Just shut up and do it. You know what I mean?
That's a crazy thought. This idea, oh, you're a special little something. Like, no, you're not, and neither am I, and nobody else is. Like, you get about what you earn in life. Today I'm chatting with Greg Jones. Greg Jones was NCAA champion, Division I 3 times. He's now the head coach of wrestling over at the Kill Cliff Fight Club down in Florida, and also known as the Big Gym, the Big Gym down in Florida. And so one of the coaches over there with my friends Henry Hooft with Gilbert Burns, and you guys make the magic happen over there. Something that stood out to me, and I was excited to chat with you about, is you invited me a couple times to training, sat in on training at your gym, had some private one-on-one stuff with some of the guys there afterwards. And I remember the first day I ever met you, you're at the gym, and I hear a frustrated tone that I'm very familiar with from my own life, where you're telling the guys, giving them instructions, and they're not quite following the instructions. And I think the way you said it is, we can't fix stupid. We can fix anything. We can fix anything here. We can help you with anything. Somebody here can help you, but we can't fix stupid. We can't fix dumb. If you can't follow a simple instruction, you can't win. And there's a few things like that kind of stacked together. And I thought, I understand who this man is, because I've spent, like a decade of my life coaching people, helping people, and mostly in a business context, and with some things with social skills. And goddamn, some people can follow instructions and some just don't want to. And it's really hard I'm getting too far ahead, and it's really hard to accomplish complex things. If you can't do simple things consistently, are you ever going to be able to do complex things well?
Yeah, no, I agree 100%. It's like, guys with the ability to follow instructions, and you can spot the guys. It's the front of the class guys, the guys that have the questions. Those are the students we're looking for. But it's something I say. I catch myself saying every day. I don't know. I've probably called them stupid inside my head.
You might have slipped up.
But
it was not a specific person you were addressing.
But more so to the point, if I give you a basic, simple skill to execute in a low-pressure environment, in a training environment, and you can't execute that, what makes you think you can execute it inside the cage with an opponent coming at you? So if you can't listen, I tell my son the same thing. If you can't listen, you can't win. It's just the bottom line. We've known this for a long time.
I get a lot of clients. Some of my clients are very, very successful. Some of them, people made millions of dollars, 10 million plus, a couple of them, and they're doing very well. There's a lot of clients that come and they think that it's like, I'll go through the course. I'll go through the course about real estate. I'll go through the course about entrepreneurship. I'll go through the course about stock, and they make a decent effort. They make an 80% effort. If they really suck, we throw them out. We don't. And I say that, I say it in the marketing. I say it again right now. I say it in the terms and conditions. Like, if you don't do the work, it's like you don't get to just linger around there. We just throw them out. And I won't miss them. And the people that'll miss them the least is my productive clients, because they don't want to be with those people. Right. They don't want to be training with those people. But there's a group of them that think that, I don't know, I guess to say it in language that is relatable to us. They got a blue belt level skill set at something, and they think they're going to be world champion. They're going to make world champion moves, And I'm like, if you just have a very basic understanding and you're not willing to take the time to understand those little boring details and the repetition, if you can't make yourself do those things repetitively, to your point, how would you be able to do that in a high pressure environment if you can't even do it when you're chilling at home without high pressure, when you're well rested, when you can eat whatever you want, when everything's good? If you can't make yourself do those little repetitive, boring things then, and to gain a mastery of them, how would you be able to do that when, in a real crisis?
No, that's where we get caught up in the process at, right? Everyone wants to win, of course. Everyone says they want to be a UFC champion, a champion of this promotion. So then that's the process we're talking about. I don't know if it necessarily has much to do with wins and losses so much. This concept of having a team within mixed martial arts community is fairly new. It's something that I think we've broken ground on, and we're having a lot of success, getting a lot of I guess notoriety would be a good word for it. But it's very much a team concept that we've been trying to drive home. We obviously need many athletes. We need many different types of athletes. So my thing is if you have a defined role and you show up and you meet that role, regardless of skill level, obviously you got to be in the box, right? You got to be in the box of skills. But if you have a clearly defined role, you're a good teammate, and you're able to execute, a baseline level of skills, then I think there's a place for you on our team. I think people come from all different walks of life, all different experience levels. We don't have 30 UFC champions. You know what I mean? But I think really is fulfilling that role and really feeling a sense of belonging, feeling that you're part of something much bigger than yourself, and being a good teammate. Kind of things like that is what we really, with me personally too, try to drive home every day.
To clarify for the audience, there's only 12 championships available at UFC.
Right.
There's between the male and female weight divisions both. There's 12, so awfully hard to have 30 on the team. I don't want to make this about me. I want to make it about you and your experiences. But just as a primer, some things that I think about that I'm sure you have a fascinating perspective on. Is if you're not showing up for your own success, like how could somebody else be more dedicated to your winning than you? And there's some people that have that delusion. I like to alienate.
It's delusion. That's a very, very good word choice. It's delusional. And not to mean to cut you off, but that's exactly it. I mean, we set the bar high from what we expect from our athletes. For the most part, those guys rise up and meet it consistently on a daily basis. But I've seen it more. It's kind of funny. It's I've been doing MMA for about 10 years now. So we're on how things seem to work out is we put new guys into the UFC in waves. We'll do 3, 4, 5, 6 guys in this X amount of time. So we're kind of always adjusting and hitting all those developmental phases. But it's that's where the challenge comes in. That finding the right motivation. Sometimes I feel like I do want these guys to win more than they want to. As coaches, we don't have a magic potion. That's a big thing in MMA now too. I'm sure Shirley in your field too is everyone's got some secret special technique, and then and the guys will listen to whoever, regardless of their background. And really, it's like if this guy's so good and he really knows his shit, then why doesn't he have his own gym and his own team? Mm-hmm. Right? So it's just guys going out of their way to look for a shortcut when we've already supplied you with everything that you need. I think we have one of the nicest gyms in the country. We have a full staff. We have all coaches on the mat at all times, every single training session. As coaches, we spend X amount of days a year on the road. I couldn't even put a number on it, but it's a lot. Mm-hmm. We go to a fight, we take a loss, we fly home on Sunday, we're back in the gym on Monday. That fighter now takes 2 or 3 weeks off. So it's life is really about partnerships and relationships, as you know. So if me as a coach, I have a desire to be the best MMA team in the whole entire world. Now I need the right partnerships, the right people on my team to help me achieve that. So really the big part is, you can't walk alone. You need someone to buy into your journey with you. But at the same time, you have to do your part, It's what it comes down to, doing your part and executing,
Having a great team like that, there's a lot of talented people in your gym.
Sure.
There's a lot of talented fighters. The coaching staff extraordinarily talented, and a frustration I had earlier in life. I didn't have good coaches, good parents, good role models.
You had to figure it out, right? You had to figure it out.
Yeah, And I had a good amount of frustration,
Sure.
and I mean that in a useful way. That a young man that's frustrated and ambitious might go do something with himself. A young person that's frustrated but content or accepting of it probably ain't going to do much. So, I think frustration was maybe a valuable asset at that time. That I'm like, man, this sucks, and like this, and I got to do better.
Yeah.
I didn't know how to do better. And then when you go do a lot of guess and check by yourself is a painful, miserable, lonely process without much results. But at least you're doing something. You're doing the best you can.
You're kind of just treading water, right?
Really, it looks choppy. You'll understand this from experience or watching. But it's like your early teens or by age 10, I had the idea in my head like, yeah, nobody's coming to save you. You got to figure some things out.
Pretty astute.
And that's a very valuable thing. Like some people say, oh, that's not, oh, no, that's just true. Like nobody's coming to save you. If you're an adult, particularly if you're an adult male, like your outcomes in your life are going to be pretty much what you make of them.
And let's face it, not many people really genuinely care either.
No.
I mean, that's the
I don't
truth.
care about the losers here. I would be delighted if, I had a lot of people on social media. It'd be great if 90% of them unfollowed me. I'd feel great about it because I'm only talking to the other 5 or so percent anyway.
Right.
So if 90% left, at least I could talk to half the audience, So I'm really only talking to 5% of the audience that actually want to go do something.
Right.
I don't care about the other ones. They don't even care about themselves. If you're offended by that, it's you that I'm talking about. Just unfollow. Make a mean comment and unfollow, and go. You can fuck up by yourself. You don't need my help to be mediocre.
Right.
You don't need my help to be a failure.
Right.
Nobody needs your coaching to be a failure. They could do that all by themselves.
Yeah, that's absolutely true.
I want to help people that are already motivated or inspired. That they might be doing really well already, but they know they could do even better. And those are people that I want to be around. Those are people my clients want to work with. Those are people my friends want to spend time with. So a lot of those people become friends over time. That they're similar people that they're already doing good, know they could do better. But I mean, most people, as you said, they're just, they're not going to do it. They're not going to make the effort. They're not. Success is not for everybody. Success is not for everybody. Not everybody wants to be a multi-time champion. Not everybody wants to do the work. I read about you online that you won 51 consecutive matches. Your last 51 matches in college wrestling, you won 51 in a row. Like, was that easy? Was it? What was that period of your life like, as far as your habits or training or discipline, etc.?
It most certainly wasn't easy. I was fortunate enough to win an NCAA championship as a freshman in college, and I went through the NCAA tournament with at the time what felt like relative ease. And to allude to one of your previous points, I remember winning that match. And I came off the stage. My coach pats me on the back, gives me a hug, and he said, "Hey, you know what's better than being a national champion?" I said, "What's that?" I said, "Winning 2, 3, or 4 of them." And I mean, I can still like feel that moment like inside of me right now. It was like, oh shit, I was obviously always pretty good. I set a high bar of wanting to be NCAA champion. And like I said, it happened with relative ease. But then whenever the success did come, I'm like, oh shit, now what? Mm-hmm. I just want to be NCAA champion. And I did it. You know what I mean? So that put a lot of dissonance kind of inside of me. And it really kind of like, it just flipped the switch inside of me. That ended up not being too healthy or productive. So, I mean, I'm kind of a person of extremes, so when you tell me I can make history and win 4 NCAA championships, I put every single thought, action into that, and it just wasn't kind of how I function. I'm usually pretty loose. I'm usually pretty relaxed. And people talk about pressure and putting pressure on yourself. So I don't know. I don't know about all that shit. But I know I trained really hard. I wrestled really hard. And I made my mind up to be a 4-time NCAA champion. There's only been 4 or 5 of them in the history of the sport. And unfortunately, that my sophomore year was just that whole build up, everything that I put into it. By the time the tournament came, I was just empty. I was tapped out, and I just wasn't. I hate to use the word balance because sometimes life just is. You just got to do what you got to do. You know what I mean? So that sophomore year I lost, and then I was fortunate enough, as you said, to go my last 2 years of college wrestling undefeated. Something that I'm very proud of, obviously. Very grateful for all the people that helped put me in that position. But of course, I shouldn't have fucked up the year before too. So there's that there's that balance word again, you know. So, but the year I didn't win the national tournament, I was also undefeated. I was, I don't know, 26, 28-0 going into the national tournament. Ended up losing the first round, and ironically, I lost the second time to Rashad Evans, who's the one that ended up getting me into MMA. Really, I almost pulled off the last 3 seasons undefeated, but just kind of how things work out sometimes, you know.
I know Rashad for more than a decade, so shout out to Rashad.
Yeah.
The balance word, you know, I enjoy making fun of that because I think, well, all right, what are the behavioral patterns of people that are exceptional at whatever their endeavor of choice is? You know, what do those behavioral patterns look like? And you know, balance doesn't seem to be on the top of that list.
We're a little crazy.
You kind of have to be.
Yeah.
You kind of have to be. And that word obsession comes up a lot. That you have to have an obsession where it's like, you know, it has to be the highest. To be the best in the world at something, the thing has to be the highest priority in your life.
Sure.
Like, as smart as you might be, as naturally talented as some of you might be, it's not enough. There's other people out there that are smart and talented. And if you're not outworking them too, it's not going to be enough. It's not going to be enough. So you have to have that. And you know, people, I hear silly comments from underperformers on the internet that poke at me. It's like, if I say something like, you know, balance is for bitches. If you want to be a winner, you got to do this,
Sure.
you know. I'm not saying your whole life should be like a martyrdom of hard work and you're not allowed to have any fun ever. And who's more fun than me? Who's more cheery? But you know, why don't you go do something first and you have something to celebrate, you know? If you want to go celebrate, why don't you go accomplish something first? And if you feel like celebrating later, at least you have something actually to celebrate, not just like, you know, I think a lot of people go out, you know, they engage in these middle class traditions of like drinking on the weekend and, you know, just getting paid for 40 hours when they worked 25 and things like that. And I'm like, I don't know. I mean, I don't mind having a beer or two. I had a sip of wine last night, not even a glass of wine. I had a little bit of wine at dinner. That's fine. But go do something first. Like, go celebrate something. There's a celebration of mediocrity is what most people are doing. That they get off work, they go have a couple drinks, or they go have their drinks on the weekend. They do not much. Like, there's 168 hours in the week. If you're only being productive for 25 or 40 or something, like, you're only dedicated to your future, like 15 or 20 or 25% of the time? You know who gets 168 hours in the week? Everybody. Winners and losers, smart people, dumb people, everybody. And the people that utilize that time the best are going to tend to have the best outcomes, all else equal.
Yeah.
So I think if you want to have a more balanced life later, you know, I'll be basically I'm 44. By the time this airs, I'm 44. And, you know, I could do whatever I want to now, but you know what I do? I still work hard. Right. I just shifted gears. Like I was doing business for 30 years of my life. And I'm like, all right, so, you know, I don't have to work ever. I don't have to do anything for money. My money makes me money now. I do this for fun, where I get to make fun of mediocrity and alienate a bunch of people on the internet. And then a few smart ones are like, I like that guy. I got to meet that guy. And then I get to spend time with the best of you, and we have a lot of fun together. But, you know, that's not a job. That's just fun. It's fun. But, like, go do something first, and then you can have all the fun you want. You can do whatever you want with your life. But if you don't do the hard thing first, like, you know, maybe balance is not optimal. Balance too early is not optimal. Maybe front-loading the work and have that obsessive type work ethic. Then you can do whatever you want later. And if you look at your life as a whole, you'd have much better than a balanced life. You'd have an exceptional life.
Sure. And kind of dial that in a little bit. As I said, the background of all my fighters. Anymore, this sport has progressed to a point now where, you know, as a wrestling coach, before the wrestlers had a very big, distinct advantage. In some ways, they still do, but it's kind of shrunk a little bit over the last, I don't know. of number of years. So for me, kind of one of the things I've been on, it's not necessarily what you do. Everyone knows how to train hard. Everyone knows they should train hard. Everyone knows they should work hard. But like from a wrestling standpoint, I could shoot a single leg, or I could fucking shoot a single leg. You know, and that's exactly how I say it on the training mat. You know, I don't know. Again, back to that magical thinking is I could just get these low pace, low reps. You know, maybe there's some learning sinking in, maybe not, but I'm burning the clock. You know, I'm here. I checked that box. I trained today, did a couple single legs. We're good. So I think it's kind of one of the things I've been thinking about kind of along what you were saying there is I don't know so much about balance because I've never been really good at that. But more, I focus more on harmony and peace. And that's primarily internally when I say that if I'm comfortable at what I'm doing, how I'm doing it, regardless, I mean, obviously I have a family, I'm not abusing them, so that's priority number one. But this is, you know, obviously number two. But if I've learned to become really just at peace with executing my job on a daily basis, trying to get the most out of the people that I work with, trying to get the most out of myself. And sometimes it works against me. Sometimes, you know, a few months will go by and I'll run into a wall and it'll take me some time to crawl out of it. But that's the path I chose. This is the way, how I chose to execute and do my job. In a lot of ways, I feel I kind of wear, all as coaches, we always wear a lot of shoes. But I've kind of morphed into kind of a performance coach slash, I'm almost the internal heartbeat of the team. I very much look at my job to control the atmosphere and environment that we put these guys in and expect them to compete and prepare to win whenever they step into the cage. So I pride myself in being that driving force, getting a little bit extra out of our guys. And it's, you know, it's not easy, but nor is it supposed to be, right? Anything worth doing is going to be hard. Just shut up and do it. You know what I mean?
I think embracing that fact is so beneficial if you think like, you know, all right, if you're willing to do hard things that most people are not willing to do, you have competitive advantages in life. Like, you should be moving towards those type of things. You can't just pick random hard shit to do.
Across the board, right?
Yeah, don't go pick random hard shit that you're not going to be well rewarded for. But if you could go do, you know, structured hard, you know, difficult things in a structured way that you will be well rewarded for, like, what would be better for your future? These are literally the best things that you could do for your future. Like, go do difficult things most people are not willing to do. That's what makes someone stand out to be a superior person, a more respected person, a more resourceful person. It's going to give you access to the peer group that you would like to have, the intellectual resources that you would like to have access to, the financial resources that would inevitably come.
Sure.
If you had the right information if you were a smart person, you were surrounded by a bunch of other smart people, and you were working hard together. So if you had the right intellectual resources, social resources, and a good work ethic, would you be starving? Would you have a hard time finding a little money? There'll be some money. You're not going to starve. You're going to be fine. But when you move away from that hard work, it's like, all right, but why would you have any advantage over anybody else? Why would you be doing any better in life than any other normal schmuck? Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, but that's a crazy thought. This idea, oh, you're a special little something. Like, no, you're not. And neither am I. And nobody else is. Like, you get about what you earn in life on a long time horizon. In the short term, there can be a lot of volatility.
Right.
In a long time horizon, you'll get about what you earn. I had a chat with Kamaru Usman a while ago, and he's 6-time UFC champion. I know you spent time together in the past. He was telling me a story about his college wrestling, where he said early in his college wrestling career went to his coach, and he says, I'm thinking about quitting wrestling. I'm not doing that great. Like, I'm pretty average. It's like, win a couple matches, I lose one, I win one, I lose one. And so I'm doing everything you ask me to do. I'm doing everything whatever the nutrition team or whatever is telling him to do. And he's like, I don't know if this is for me. And he says the coach tells him, I don't know the coach, is the coach at Iowa. You might know the guy. He says, the coach tells him, well, if you're just doing what everybody else is doing, why would you expect to have a better outcome? It's like you have to do substantially more than everybody else is doing. And I thought like that in many different contexts. And I thought that was delightful to hear him say that with the results that he got later in life, that that was a key moment. Imagine if he would have quit wrestling. Would he be a 6-time UFC champ later?
Right. Probably not.
Probably not.
The champion interview you just watched is just a tiny teaser from this champion's extended, full-length interview contained inside my comprehensive wealth building foundations course, The 10 Commandments of Wealth. Get inside the 10 Commandments of Wealth, and as a bonus, you get dozens of in-depth interviews with world champions just like this. Leave a comment if you want a business or success question answered, and subscribe for even more winning.